A technical analyst called a major sell-off 2 weeks ago. S&P was at 7,600, QQQ at 749. He laid out the setup, sell signals, major volatility, and he was right. S&P is now 7,267. QQQ dropped below 700. That's a 7% correction in 2 weeks. So now the question everyone's asking is the same one it always is. Is this the beginning of something bigger, or just a reset in a bull market that's already up 35% in the last 64 days? Here's what matters. Invest Answers nailed the technical setup. The signals were real. They executed. But here's the part that separates the people who actually understand markets from the people who panic. James from Invest Answers is careful about what he's not saying. He's not saying the bull market is over. He's saying mean reversion is a thing that happens. Markets don't go up forever without pullbacks. They compress, they reset, then they go again. The problem is most retail traders see a 7% dip and think one of two things. Either, oh no, this is it, the crash is here, I should have gotten out, or great, buying opportunity, I should have gone all in. Neither of those is really the point. The point is this: you had a 35% rally compressed into 64 days. That's velocity. That kind of move doesn't sustain without volatility. So you get pullbacks, sometimes small, sometimes big. Right now you're looking at a normal correction inside a larger uptrend. Bitcoin is up 1.98% in the last 24 hours, sitting at $62,519. That's actually pretty stable considering the equities are down 1.62% on the day. The fear and greed index is at 12 out of 100. Extreme fear. That's the retail panic meter. It spikes when people are scared. And yeah, they're scared right now. But fear doesn't mean crash. Fear means opportunity if you know what you're looking at. Here's the thing about mean reversion that nobody talks about. It's not a prediction, it's a description. It describes what markets do. They overshoot, they pull back, they find equilibrium, then they move again. The problem is the equities market is about to get distracted by something that has nothing to do with technicals or valuations. SpaceX is IPOing soon. That's massive. That's going to suck oxygen out of the broader market for weeks. Retail and institutions are going to be watching that, trading that, rotating into that. So you're in this weird spot where the TA guy correctly called a sell-off. But that sell-off might be interrupted by something bigger and weirder. The technical picture is reset. Mean reversion is working. But then a major IPO hits, and suddenly capital flows change. Suddenly attention changes. And the chart you were reading becomes less relevant than the question of whether SpaceX is the next megacap or just another Elon hype cycle. The honest answer is this: if you were positioned for the 35% rally in 64 days, you should expect some of that back in a correction. 7% is normal. It's not scary. It's boring. It's how markets work. But if you're using that correction as a signal to panic or to go all in, you're basically trying to time the bottom of something that hasn't bottomed yet, and you don't know when it will. Nobody does. Invest Answers got the setup right. That's worth noting. That's worth respecting. But the follow-up isn't crash incoming or buy the dip immediately. It's volatility is real, hedge accordingly, and pay attention to what else is happening in the macro environment. Because the TA is part of the story, not the whole story. So here's the thing I want to know. Are you reading this correction as a signal that the trend is breaking, or are you treating it as a reset inside a larger bull market? Drop a comment, because honestly, most retail is positioned for one of those, and if you're wrong about which one it is, you're going to react poorly when it happens. If this kind of second-order thinking on the technicals and the bigger picture is useful, stick around. More of this. Subscribe. Speaking of things that don't make sense, Connecticut officers got called to 2 separate loose pig incidents in the same day last week. 2 different pigs, 2 different neighborhoods, same Thursday. Nobody knows why the pigs were loose. Nobody knows why it happened twice. But it did. Chaos is randomly distributed, and sometimes your town just decides that today is pig day. All right, I'll leave it there. Subscribe if you want more of this. See you tomorrow.